Have you ever felt stuck when trying to speak English? You understand the words, but your mind goes blank. You start translating from your native language, and suddenly everything slows down. It feels like your thoughts and your mouth are not in sync. You're not alone. This happens to almost every English learner. But what if I told you there's a simple way to fix this? A way to make English flow naturally in your mind, without translation. That's what we're going to explore today. I'm Emily, and in this episode, we'll talk about how to think more in English. This one skill can completely change how you learn and speak English. We'll go step by step together so you can start using English with ease and confidence. So, find a quiet moment, relax, and let's begin this journey to thinking in English. Let's start with a simple question. What does it really mean to think in English? It sounds mysterious, right? But it's actually very simple once you understand the idea. Most learners follow the same pattern when speaking English. First, they think in their native language, then they translate those thoughts into English. Finally, they try to speak. And that's when everything slows down. The brain is doing double work, thinking in one language, then converting it to another. It's like driving a car while translating the road signs in your head. You can do it, but it's not smooth and it takes time. So, what happens when you skip that translation step? That's when you begin to think in English. It means your brain connects directly from ideas to English words without going through your native language. Imagine seeing a cat and instantly thinking, that's a cat, not con mayo, oh, cat. It feels faster, lighter, and more natural. Thinking in English doesn't mean you know every word in the dictionary. No one does, not even native speakers. It means your brain is starting to create direct connections between ideas and English expressions. It's like rewiring your mind to use a new language path. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. At first, you might feel uncomfortable. Your mind will want to go back to your native language. That's normal. Think of it like switching from walking to riding a bicycle. At the beginning, you wobble and maybe fall a few times. But after some practice, your balance improves, and soon it feels effortless. Thinking in English works the same way. You're training your brain to take a new route, shorter, faster, and smoother. Now, let's imagine a simple daily example. You wake up and look at the window. Instead of thinking, Troy homne Jep, you say to yourself, it's a beautiful day. When you make breakfast, instead of translating each word, you think, I'm making eggs. The coffee smells great. You are not memorizing. You are living the language. That's the secret to make English a part of your thoughts, not just your lessons. When you start doing this, something amazing happens. Your fluency improves without you even realizing it. Your brain no longer pauses to translate. Your sentences start to flow naturally. And suddenly, speaking English doesn't feel like a task anymore. It feels like self-expression. Thinking in English is not just about grammar or vocabulary. It's about how you connect with the language emotionally and mentally. It's about creating a new space in your mind where English lives freely. And once that space grows, you'll start noticing changes. You'll listen to a conversation and understand it instantly. You'll reply faster, without hesitation. You'll even start dreaming or counting in English without trying. That's when you know your brain has made the switch. So, what can you take from this? Thinking in English means trusting yourself. It means letting go of perfection and allowing your thoughts to move freely. It means accepting that mistakes are part of growth. Because every time you think in English, even silently, you're training your brain to become fluent. You're not learning English anymore. You're living it. And that's the first big step toward true fluency. Now that we know what it means to think in English, let's talk about why it matters so much. You might be wondering, why should I train my brain to think in another language? Isn't learning vocabulary and grammar enough? The truth is, not really. If you only study English, but never think in it, your progress will always feel slow. Thinking in English is the bridge between learning and living the language. It transforms your English from something you study to something you actually use. And there are four big reasons why this skill is so powerful. First, thinking in English makes you more fluent. When your thoughts are already in English, your words come out faster. You don't pause to translate or search for equivalents. It's like removing a speed bump from your brain. The conversation flows naturally, and you feel in control. Even simple sentences start sounding smooth and effortless. This is the first real sign that your English is becoming part of you. Second, it builds confidence. Many learners feel shy when they speak because they fear mistakes. But when you think in English, you stop focusing on being perfect. You focus on expressing yourself. You realize that communication is not about flawless grammar. It's about connection. And that shift makes you braver, calmer, and more natural. The more you use English in your thoughts, the less you worry about getting it right. Confidence doesn't come from knowing every rule. It comes from trusting yourself to speak anyway. The third reason is comprehension. When you train your mind to think in English, your listening skills improve dramatically. You begin to understand people directly in English without translation. You catch the meaning, the emotion, and the rhythm of what's being said. For example, when watching a movie, you stop needing subtitles. Your brain begins to recognize English as its own system, not as a puzzle to decode. And that's when you realize you're truly understanding English, not just memorizing it. The fourth reason is energy. Translating every thought in your head is hard work. It drains your focus and makes your brain tired. But when you think in English, you save all that energy. You can use it instead to enjoy the moment, speak naturally, and listen more deeply. Your brain becomes more efficient, like switching from walking to running. You feel lighter, faster, and more free when speaking. It's a simple change that makes a huge difference. Let's imagine a real moment. You're sitting in a cafe, ordering coffee. If you think in your native language, you might say, Toi muon mot li cafe sua, and then translate. But if you think in English, your brain goes straight to, I'd like a cup of coffee with milk, please. No delay, no hesitation, just smooth communication. That's the power of thinking in English. It turns English from a school subject into a living skill. Another beautiful benefit is emotional connection. When you think in English, you start to feel emotions through the language itself. You laugh at jokes in English, you feel inspired by quotes, you even think, I'm proud of myself in English. And that emotional connection makes the language more real, more personal, and more enjoyable. It's no longer something you learn for exams. It becomes part of who you are. So, why is thinking in English so important? Because it gives you fluency, confidence, comprehension, and freedom. It helps you stop learning English as a subject and start living it as a lifestyle. And once that happens, your English journey becomes lighter, happier, and more natural. You stop being afraid of speaking. You stop overthinking grammar. You just communicate, like yourself, but in another language. That's not just learning English. That's becoming bilingual in the truest sense. And it all starts in your mind, with the simple choice to think in English. Let's be honest, thinking in English sounds great in theory, but it's not always easy in practice. Every learner faces some challenges on this journey, and that's perfectly normal. Today, let's talk about the 5 most common problems that make this habit hard to build. Once you understand them, you can start to fix them one by one. The first challenge is translation. Most learners have the habit of translating everything in their head. Every thought, every sentence. It all starts in their native language. Then they try to find the English version. It's like walking with a heavy backpack. You can still move, but slowly. This habit creates delay and confusion, especially when English expressions don't match your language exactly. For example, I miss you doesn't translate perfectly into many languages, but the meaning is clear in English. To overcome this, you must start small. Think in short English phrases instead of translating long thoughts. The goal is progress, not perfection. The second challenge is fear of mistakes. This is a big one. Many learners are afraid that their English will sound wrong, so they stop before even trying. You might think, what if I say it incorrectly? What if people judge me? But here's the truth. No one becomes fluent without making mistakes. Mistakes are not failures. They're signs of growth. Think of a child learning to walk. They fall many times, but each fall helps them find balance. The same goes for language. Every wrong word you say brings you closer to fluency. So instead of avoiding mistakes, welcome them. They show that you're practicing, learning, and improving. The third challenge is limited vocabulary. This one is tricky because it makes your mind freeze. You want to express something, but the right word just doesn't come. And then your brain stops. Blank space. The solution isn't to memorize thousands of words at once. It's to use what you already know. Build simple sentences with simple words. For example, if you don't know the word frustrated, you can say, I feel bad. Your message still gets across. Over time, new words will naturally fill the gaps. Fluency is not about big vocabulary. It's about quick thinking with what you have. The fourth challenge is slow thinking. When you first start thinking in English, your brain feels heavy. Forming sentences takes effort. You might think, maybe I'm not good at this. But that's not true. It's simply because your brain isn't used to the new pattern yet. Think of it like building a new muscle. The first workout hurts, but the more you train, the stronger you get. Soon your thoughts start forming faster and smoother. You'll catch yourself thinking in English without even trying. And finally, the fifth challenge, lack of practice. Thinking in English is just like exercise. If you only do it once a week, you won't see results. It needs to become part of your daily life. Many learners expect fluency without consistent effort. But language doesn't work that way. You have to feed your brain English every single day, even for 5 minutes. It's not about time. It's about consistency. Daily exposure is what transforms your thinking. So instead of saying, I don't have time, try saying, I'll use 2 minutes to think in English right now. That's how habits are built. Small steps, repeated often. To sum up, the main problems are translation, fear, limited words, slow thinking, and lack of practice. But here's the good news. All of them can be fixed. With awareness, patience, and daily effort, you can overcome every one of these barriers. Remember, even native speakers once struggled to think clearly in their own language. You're doing something even more amazing, training your brain to work in 2 languages. Be patient with yourself, celebrate small wins, and never stop practicing. Thinking in English takes time, but every little moment counts. Each short sentence you form in your head brings you one step closer to fluency. So don't rush, don't doubt, just keep going. Your English brain is growing stronger every day. So now that we know what makes thinking in English difficult, let's talk about how to begin. How do you actually start training your brain to think in another language? The answer is simple. You start small. Tiny steps, repeated every day, can create big change. Many learners try to do too much at once. They want to think in long, perfect sentences, but that only causes frustration. Instead, the secret is to begin with the words and phrases you already know. Keep it simple, keep it light, and keep it fun. Here's how you can start. Look around your room right now. Name the things you see, out loud or silently in your mind. This is a chair. That is a table. My phone is on the desk. These are not just words. They are the first steps to building a habit. By naming the objects around you in English, you're training your brain to make instant connections. The goal is not to sound perfect. It's to build familiarity. Next, try expressing your feelings in English. If you feel hungry, say, I'm hungry. If you feel tired, think, I'm tired. If you're happy, tell yourself, I feel great today. These small emotional sentences are powerful because they connect English to real feelings. And the stronger the emotional connection, the faster your brain learns. You can also practice describing what you're doing. This is a simple but powerful technique. When you brush your teeth, think, I'm brushing my teeth. When you make breakfast, say, I'm cooking eggs. When you leave the house, think, I'm going to work. You're not translating. You're living in English for a few seconds. Those few seconds are what slowly reprogram your mind. Another fun exercise is to play the What's Happening game. Throughout the day, ask yourself that question and answer it in English. What's happening? I'm waiting for the bus. I'm checking my phone. It's raining. It's a simple trick that keeps your brain active and aware in English. The best part? You can do it anywhere, anytime. No teacher, no book, just you and your thoughts. You might feel awkward at first. That's okay. Everyone does. Your brain is building a new pathway, and it takes time to feel natural. At the beginning, your thoughts will switch between English and your native language. Don't fight it. Each time you catch yourself translating, gently move back to English. It's like reminding your brain, hey, let's use English this time. With consistency, this becomes easier and more automatic. Another helpful tip is to create mini routines in English. For example, each morning, take 1 minute to think about your day in English. Say in your mind, today I'll meet my friend. I'll go to the gym. I'll finish my project. Then at night, review your day. I had a good day. I was busy but happy. These short daily reflections train your brain to think in English about real life, not textbooks. Music and objects can also help. If you see your phone, think phone. When you open the door, think door. If you listen to an English song, hum along and repeat a few words. Your brain learns through repetition and association. The more you see, hear, and use English in simple contexts, the more natural it becomes. Remember, starting small doesn't mean thinking small. Every short phrase builds a foundation for bigger thoughts later. It's like planting seeds in your mind. One day, they'll grow into full conversations. So don't rush, and don't underestimate the power of tiny daily habits. If you keep naming, describing, and thinking simple thoughts in English, you'll wake up one day, realizing you've stopped translating completely. That's the beauty of starting small. It's quiet progress that changes everything. Step by step, word by word, your English mind begins to bloom. Now that you've started thinking in small sentences, it's time to take the next step. This step will make English feel even more natural inside your mind. It's called inner conversation. Yes, it means talking to yourself, but don't worry, you're not going crazy. We all talk to ourselves every day. We think about what to do, what to eat, what to say next. The only difference is that now you'll do it in English. Inner conversation is one of the most powerful ways to train your brain. Why? Because it connects English to your real thoughts and decisions. You're not reading or repeating someone else's sentences. You're using your own mind and your own life. It's personal, emotional, and effective. Let me give you an example. When you wake up in the morning, start your day with a small English talk. Say in your head, good morning, I feel tired, but it's a new day. Then plan your day. Today I'll go to work. I need to buy groceries. After dinner, I'll watch a movie. You're basically narrating your life, and that's exactly what trains fluency. Later in the day, try using English to think through your tasks. When you're cooking, think, I'm cutting vegetables, I'm boiling water. When you're on the bus, look outside and describe what you see. The weather looks nice. That kid is laughing. The city feels busy today. Each sentence helps your brain stay in English mode a little longer. You can also practice asking and answering questions in your mind. Ask yourself, what should I eat for lunch? Then answer, maybe I'll have noodles. Ask, how do I feel today? And respond, I feel relaxed. This mini Q&A practice builds natural thinking patterns. You're not forcing the language, you're using it to express yourself. One great benefit of inner conversation is flexibility. You can do it anytime, anywhere. No books, no lessons, no pressure. You can practice while walking, cleaning, or waiting in line. Yeah, even 1 or 2 minutes of self-talk can make a huge difference over time. It's like having a free English class inside your mind. At first, you might struggle to keep the conversation going. That's completely normal. Your brain might want to switch back to your native language. When that happens, take a deep breath and gently return to English. Don't judge yourself. Think of it as mental exercise. Each time you return to English, you strengthen that new habit. Here's another idea. Use emotions to make inner talk more real. If you feel happy, say, "I'm so excited right now." If something upsets you, think, "That makes me angry." If you're nervous before a meeting, whisper, "I can do this." Connecting emotions to English gives the language life. You start to feel it, not just think it. Over time, this practice changes how you see English. It stops being a subject and becomes a voice inside you. You start responding automatically to thoughts in English. You'll notice your sentences become faster, more natural, more confident. That's your brain adapting. It's learning that English is a language for thinking, not just speaking. To make it even more effective, try journaling your inner thoughts. Write down a few lines each night. Today, I felt proud. I learned a new word. Tomorrow I'll do better. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just let your thoughts flow naturally in English. This strengthens your inner voice and makes your progress visible. Remember, inner conversation is not about grammar or fancy words. It's about creating a safe space where English becomes your second inner language. So, talk to yourself, plan your day, describe your world, share your feelings, all in English. Little by little, your brain will stop translating and start thinking directly. And that's when English truly becomes a part of who you are. Now, let's take your English thinking to the real world. It's time to move beyond your mind and start using English in daily life. Because the more you live in English, the more natural it becomes. Thinking in English should not stay inside your head. It should flow into your everyday actions. Start with small moments. When you go shopping, try to think in English. Look at the apples and think, "These look fresh." See the bread and say in your mind, "I need 2 loaves." Ask yourself, "Where's the milk section?" These are simple sentences, but they connect your real life to English. You're not memorizing, you're living the words. When you're cooking, it's another great chance to practice. As you cook, describe each step. Cut the onion, boil the water, add salt. It might sound simple, but these actions train your brain to process English in real time. Your thoughts, your hands, your senses, all working together in English. Even when you walk outside, you can turn the world into your classroom. Look around and describe what you see. The sky is cloudy. That man is running. The bus is coming. When you do this, you are not studying. You are experiencing English. And that's when language learning feels real, not forced. You can also bring English into your home. When you clean your room, think, "I'm folding clothes. I'm washing the dishes. I'm opening the window." You don't have to speak out loud. Silent thoughts are just as powerful. Every time you think in English, you build mental connections that last. Of course, sometimes you'll forget or switch back to your native language. That's okay. Each time you catch yourself and return to English, you're strengthening the habit. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for consistency. A few minutes of practice every day is much more powerful than one long session once a week. Now, let's talk about vocabulary. Because one common reason people stop thinking in English is they don't know enough words. Here's the truth. You don't need thousands of words to think in English. You just need the right ones, the words that match your daily life. Food, work, emotions, family, routines. These are your foundation. Once you master them, everything else becomes easier. Here's a simple way to grow your vocabulary naturally. First, read or listen to English every day, even for 5 minutes. Podcasts, YouTube, short articles, anything that feels enjoyable. Second, write down new words you hear. Third, use them in your inner conversations. Let's say you learn the word mirror. Next time you see one, think, this is a mirror. Or if you learn delicious, say, this coffee is delicious. That's how new words become part of your thinking, not just your memory. Another tip, label things around you. Put small sticky notes with English words on objects at home. When you see them, your brain will automatically read the word and connect it to reality. It's a fun and visual way to make vocabulary stick. Don't forget to engage your senses. When you hear English music, pay attention to the lyrics. When you watch a show, try to think in English about what's happening. Ask yourself, what is this scene about? How do the characters feel? You're not just watching, you're interacting with English. The key to success here is consistency, not complexity. You don't need to change your whole life to practice English. You just need to weave small English moments into what you already do. The more you do this, the less you'll notice the switch. One day, you'll realize you've spent the entire morning thinking in English without even trying. That's when English stops being a language you study and becomes a language you live. Every word, every routine, every little habit brings you closer to fluency. So start today. Bring English into your kitchen, your commute, your thoughts, your world. And soon, English will no longer be something you learn. It will be something you are. Now that you're using English in your daily life, it's time to make your thinking faster and more confident. In this part, we'll explore two powerful techniques that can transform how you think: shadowing and active listening. And of course, we'll also talk about one of the biggest keys to success: building confidence. Let's start with shadowing. It's a simple but highly effective technique used by language learners around the world. You listen to English audio, maybe a podcast, a YouTube video, or even a movie line, and repeat what you hear immediately. Not after, not later, but right away, almost like an echo. For example, if you hear someone say, "How are you today?" You say it at the same time, matching their rhythm and tone. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to train your brain to think, listen, and speak at the same time. When you shadow, you don't have time to translate. You must focus on the sound, flow, and meaning in real time. It's like teaching your brain to run instead of walk. At first, it feels intense. You'll miss words, stumble, maybe fall behind. That's okay. Keep going. The magic happens when your brain starts predicting what comes next. That's when you know your English is speeding up. You can use shadowing with anything you enjoy: interviews, songs, short speeches, or even news clips. Choose content that matches your level and interests. If it's too difficult, slow it down or pick something simpler. What matters is consistency, not perfection. Do it for 5 minutes a day and watch your brain adapt. You'll soon notice that your inner voice in English becomes clearer and quicker. Now let's talk about active listening. This is more than just hearing English. It's truly engaging with it. When you listen to a conversation, try to respond in your mind instantly. If someone says, "What did you do yesterday?" don't translate it, just answer silently. "I went to the park." If a podcast host says, "That's amazing," you might think, "Yes, it really is." You're not speaking out loud, but your brain is practicing English reactions. It's a small, simple exercise that builds real fluency. Combine shadowing and active listening together, and you'll see fast progress. Shadowing trains your mouth and rhythm. Active listening trains your understanding and reaction speed. Together, they make you more spontaneous and natural in English conversations. Now, let's talk about something deeper: confidence. Many learners struggle not because of grammar or vocabulary, but because of fear. The fear of being wrong, the fear of sounding silly, the fear of being judged. But here's the truth: every confident speaker you've ever admired has made thousands of mistakes. Confidence doesn't come first. It grows from experience. And experience grows from trying, even when you're nervous. So, how do you build that kind of confidence? Start by speaking or thinking in English every single day. even if it's just for a minute. Celebrate small wins. Say to yourself, I spoke English today. I tried, and that's progress. Shift your focus from perfection to progress, because perfection doesn't exist, but improvement does. When you make a mistake, don't say, I failed. Say, I learned. Each mistake is a sign that you're doing something real. You're moving forward. Fluency is not about never being wrong. It's about not being afraid to keep going. And that mindset changes everything. Here's a little daily routine to help you apply all of this. In the morning, spend 2 minutes thinking in English about your plans. During the day, practice shadowing a short video or podcast. In the evening, review 1 or 2 new words and make a few inner sentences with them. That's it. Simple, short, but incredibly powerful. 5 to 15 minutes of focused effort every day will transform your English over time. Remember this: consistency beats intensity. You don't need to study for hours. You just need to show up for your English every day. Bit by bit, your confidence will grow. Your thoughts will flow faster. And one day, you'll realize you're not just speaking English, you're thinking it, living it, and loving it. That's the moment when English becomes a part of who you are. So let's take a moment to reflect. Thinking in English isn't just a skill, it's a journey of mindset and habit. You don't need to be perfect, just consistent. Start small, speak to yourself, listen actively, and stay curious. Every sentence you think in English is a step toward fluency. Some days will feel easy, others will feel slow, but every effort matters. Your brain is learning, adapting, and growing with each thought. So be patient with yourself. Celebrate progress no matter how small. Because one day you'll realize you no longer translate. You just think, speak, and live in English. Keep practicing, stay confident, and enjoy the process. This is your English journey, and it's only getting better from here.